Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Today we are going to discuss about the digestive system or alimentary system. The digestive system is made up of digestive tract, means it's a complete tract, root. This consists of long tube of the organ that runs from the mouth to the anus and include esophagus, which connect mouth to the stomach. Then comes the stomach, and after stomach, small intestine and large intestine, together with the liver, which is not in that tract, it is out of the tract. Then gallbladder that also participate in pancreas that also help in the digestive system, and it's a sub part of the alimentary system, which produce important secretion for the digestion that drain into the small intestine. The digestive tract in an adult is about 30 feet long. So if you will see the alimentary tract, first comes the oral cavity, that is the mouth. Then mouth has got a salivary gland which secretes a saliva to soften the food. Then there is a tube from mouth to the stomach that is known as esophagus, and then the stomach comes. And after stomach, there is a small intestine which consists of three parts: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Then there is a large intestine which contains the fecal material and waste material, and it has got a three portion: ascending colon, transfer colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, and then anus. The accessory organs which help in the digestion are the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Introduction to the gastrointestinal system. The gastrointestinal system consists of hollow muscular tube starting from oral cavity, that is mouth, where food enters the mouth, continue through the pharynx, esophagus, stomach, and intestine to the rectum and anus, where food is expelled. The waste is expelled out. There are various accessory organs that assist the tract by secreting enzyme to help break down food into its component nutrients. Means whatever you food take, either you will take a protein, carbohydrate, or fat. At the end, it will break down into small particles, and those particles are absorbable from the small intestine at the ileum. And they are not the protein; they are the amino acids. They are not the fat; they are the fatty acids. They are not the starch; that is a carbohydrate. Thus, the salivary glands, liver, pancreas, and gallbladder have an important function in digestive system. Food is propelled along the length of the GIT by peristalsis movement of this muscular ball. The food moves from the stomach to the intestine by the movement of intestine like a snake. Had the snake on the ground move forward, in the same way, the food in our intestine, that intestine move like that, and it will propel the food on the forward direction. There is a figure given over here, picture. You can see the digestive system, the anatomy of the system. There is a oral cavity, tongue, parotid gland, sublingual gland, submandibular gland. There are salivary gland is consist of three of the glands: saliva, which is in our mouth, secretion, and that is a mixture of parotid gland secretion, sublingual means under the tongue, and submandibular means under the mandible. That is a lower bone of our mouth. Then there is a pharynx, connection of the mouth to the pharynx, and pharynx will open into the esophagus. Then comes the stomach, right? Then accessory things are pancreas, liver, and gallbladder. And then we have got a small intestine, this is duodenum, jejunum, ileum, as is shown in the figure. And large intestine, transverse colon, descending colon, ascending colon. Then cecum, the sigmoid colon, rectum. Then appendix is also there, which is the end of the large intestine. And anal canal through which the feces comes out. So this figure is a very helpful for your learning anatomy. The stomach is a J-shaped organ, as you can see in this figure. It's a J-shaped organ with two openings. One opening at the esophagus level, one at the duodenal level, means small intestine level. Hello, hello. अच्छा अच्छा, मैं इंशाल्लाह आके ले जाऊंगा। आप लोग कब तक हैं, कब तक बैठे हुए? हेलो। जी, आवाज आ रही है ना मेरी? Sorry for discontinuation. The stomach is a J-shaped organ with the two opening, the esophagus and the duodenum, and four regions: the cardiac, fundus, body, and pylorus. As this can be seen in this picture. Each region performs different functions. The fundus collect digestive gases, means the top fundus collect the gases move upward because they are less. Uh, uh, the weight of the gas is very less, so it moves up and collected in the fundus. Then body and pylorus, each region perform different functions. The fundus collect the digestive gases. The body secretes pepsinogen and hydrochloric acid, which digest the protein. And the pylorus is responsible for mucus, which lines the stomach, prevent lining of the stomach from the uh, acidic, from the HCl, which is acidic in nature. Then gastrin and pepsinogen secretion, which digest protein. The stomach has got five major functions. The stomach, temporary food storage, first function, control the rate at which the food enters into the duodenum. Then acid secretion and antibacterial actions. Then fluidization of the stomach content, means the content will uh, converted into small particle, and it will take a shape of a liquidy material. Preliminary digestion with the pepsin, lipases. The pancreas has got a very important role. Hello, hello, hello. Pancreas consists mainly of the exocrine glands that secrete enzyme to aid in the digestion of food in the small intestine. The main enzyme produced are the lipases, peptidases, and amylases for fats, protein, and carbohydrates, respectively. They are released in the duodenum via the duodenal ampulla, the same place the bile from the liver drain into means from the pancreas and from the gallbladder. Secretions comes and enter into the small intestine at the level of duodenum. Pancreas exocrine secretion is hormonal regulation, and the same hormones that encourage secretion, that is a cholecystokinin, also encourages discharge of the gallbladder, storage of the bile. The bile will contract, the bile bladder will contract and expel out bile into the duodenum, and this is through the hormones which is secreted by the endocrine system. As the bile is essentially an emulsifying agent, it makes fat water soluble and gives the pancreatic enzyme lot of surface area to work. Structurally, the pancreas has got four sections: head, neck, body, and tail. I'll show you the figure also of that. The tail is stretched back to just in front of the spleen. And now you can see the pancreas. Pancreas has got a head, body, and tail. And then it has got lobules, means pieces. Then pancreatic duct is there. And the location you can see where it is located at the duodenum. Its head is located fixed in the duodenum. The small intestine is the site where most of the chemical and mechanical digestion is carried out and where virtually all of the absorption of useful material is carried out. So a small intestine is a place where all the chemical and mechanical digestion take place. The whole of the small intestine is lined with an absorption mucosal types with certain modification for each section. Per section, in every section, in duodenum, jejunum, ileum, they have got an absorptive mucus lining which absorbs the food material and push it towards the blood circulation. The intestine also has a smooth muscles wall with two layers of the muscles, rhythmical contraction with the rhythm sequence, force product of the digestion through the intestine, and it will move food on the forward direction, which is known as peristalsis. There are three main sections to the small intestine, as I have mentioned and shown you in the picture. The duodenum forms a C shape around the head of the pancreas. Its main function is to neutralize the acidic gastric content is called chyme and to initiate further digestion. Brunner's gland in the submucosa secretion and alkaline mucus which neutralize the chyme. Chyme is acidic in nature because HCl there and HCl is secreted from the parietal cells of the stomach lining. So those acidity should be neutralized and converted into normal pH, and that is done in intestine and protect the surface of the duodenum. The jejunum, the second part, and the third part is ileum. The jejunum and the ileum are the greater coiled part of the small intestine and together are about 4 to 6 meters long. The jejunum between the two sections is not well defined. The mucus of these sections is highly folded. The folds are called the pallaci, increasing the surface area available for absorption dramatically. Now we come to the small intestine. The figure is here. You can observe it. You can see that there is a first part of the intestine, small intestine is duodenum, second is jejunum, and third is ileum. And then from the ileum start the large intestine. Now we come on the large intestine. By the time digestive products reach the small intestine, almost all of the nutritional useful products have been removed. All the useful product is removed and enter into the blood circulation. The large intestine removes all water from the remainders, passing semi-solid feces into the rectum to be expelled out from the body through the anus. The mucosa is arranged into tightly packed spade tubular glands, G, which consist of cells specialized for water absorption and mucus secretion, goblet cells, to aid the passage of feces. Means to move the feces and expel it out from the body. There are goblet cells which secrete mucus, means sticky secretion, which push it towards the rectum, and from the anus it will expel out. The large intestine also contain area of the lymphoid tissues. This can be found in the ileum too, called the Peyer's patches, and they provide local immunological protection of the potential weak spots in the body defenses. Because you know in the large intestine there is a feces and feces are full of bacteria. It's a waste. So nature has provided immune system in the Peyer's patches at the large intestine. So it will prevent any infection in the colon, in means large intestine. As the gut is teeming with bacteria, you know that gut, large intestine full of bacteria. Reinforcement of the standard surface defense seem only sensible. So because of that, nature has provided a defense mechanism, means bacteria, there are certain immunological cells are there which overcome those infection to kill those bacteria which is present in that gut. The micrograph above show a section of the jejunum and clearly show the high folded structure of the mucus of the small intestine. The epithelial surface of the placi is further folded from the villi. These increase the surface area of the small intestine. The epithelial surface of the placi is further folded for the villi, means finger-like projection is present in the small intestine. The increase the surface area of the small intestine is still further and the surface of the each villi is covered in small macrovilli to maximize surface area. The area available for absorption is vast. Each villi has its own blood supply of a small intestine, can be seen in the submucosa, means below the mucosa is the first layer of the intestine, and blood containing digestive product from the small intestine is taken to the liver. Now these all material which is digested at the end, it will enter into the blood circulation, and from blood circulation it will first go to the hepatic portal system, is to the liver. Liver will analyze all the food material. If any toxin or poison, it will not allow it to be digested or enter into the blood circulation. So hepatic portal system in the liver, it will check the food which comes over there, and if anything harmful for the body, then it will expel out from the body and do not allow it to enter into the blood circulation. It won't go to the heart and brain and other vital organ of the body. That double muscular layer moves food from the intestine by peristalsis. I have already mentioned. So large intestine figure over here, you can see cecum, first part, and there is a finger-like projection which is appendix, then ascending colon, then transfer colon, then descending colon, then sigmoid colon, and then anus, rectum, and then anus. The basic structure of gastrointestinal tract is muscular tube like a special layer of the cell's epithelium. The content of the tubes are considered external to the body and are in continuous with the outside world at the mouth and anus. Means the tube from the mouth up to the anus is all internal, but mouth is connected with external and anus is connected external because the feces is thrown out of the body. Although each section of the tract has a specialized function, the entire tract has a smaller tract has a similar basic structure with regional variation. I will show you the structure of the stomach and intestine. The GI tract contains 4 layers. There are 4 layers of the muscles of intestine and stomach. The inner layer is mucosa, underneath is submucosa, followed by the muscularis propera, and finally the outer layer, the adventitia. The structure of these 3 layers varies in different regions of the digestive system depending on their function. These layers are variable in different parts. Means starting from the stomach, then small intestine, then large intestine. So it varies, these 4 layers. Here is a figure, you can see. First layer inside, means inside of your intestine or stomach. In stomach, the first layer is epithelium, second layer is lamina propria, third layer is muscularis mucosa, fourth is a submucosa, fifth is the muscularis propera, and the last one outside is the adventitia. And this is a section shown over here also in another figure. This is another figure. So the wall is divided of the stomach into 4 layers as follows. Mucosa, the innermost layer of the digestive tract, the specialized epithelial cells supported by underlying connective tissues layer called the lamina propria. The lamina propria contains blood vessels, nerves, lymphoid tissues, and glands that support the mucosa depending on its function. The epithelium may be simple, a singular layer, or a stratified layer. Means the epithelial lining, all these 4 layers are according to the function of that area. If need simple function, then it is a single layer. If needs a strong function, means the crushing the food, then it's stratified, means multi-layered epithelial cells are there. Areas such as the mouth and esophagus are covered by a stratified squamous flat. Now it is showing the areas where there is a layer type of epithelium, which is a stratified squamous epithelium, so they can survive the wear and tear of the passing food. Means because the food is passing through the mouth and esophagus, so food can damage your mouth mucosa, inner lining, or esophagus. So for the protection, it is a stratified, means many cells, a layer of the cells. Simple columnar, tall or glandular epithelium lies through the stomach and intestine to aid secretion and absorption. So In a stomach and intestine, what you need? Secretion of the HCl, pepsin, pepsinogen, other secretion, and absorption of the food from the intestine. So what you needed? Simple columnar epithelium. The inner lining is constantly shed and replaced, making it one of the most rapidly dividing area of the body. Beneath the lamina propria is the muscularis muscle, as you can see in the figure. This comprises a layer of the small muscles which can contract to change the shape of the lumen. The submucosa surround the muscularis mucosa and consists of flat, fibrous connective tissue, means the second layer, and large vessels and nerves. Nerves and vessels are blood vessels, rich of blood vessels and nerves, because it will give you the sense of pain also and motor function. At its outer margin, there is a specialized nerve plexus called the submucosal plexus, means a bunch of the nerves. Plexus means bunch of the nerves, or Massey's plexus we call it. This supplies the mucosa and submucosa. It will give the sensation and motor function to the mucosa and submucosa. Then muscularis externa. This smooth muscles layer has an inner circular and outer longitudinal layer of the muscle fibers separated by mesenteric plexus, mesenteric plexus, or we call it Auerbach plexus, Auerbach plexus or mesenteric plexus. Neural innervation control the contraction of the muscles. These nerves control the contraction. Peristalsis means the contraction of the intestine and contraction of the stomach muscle, and hence the mechanical breakdown and peristalsis of the food within the lumen. Sensory oblique mesentery. The outer layer of the GIT, gastrointestinal tract, is formed by the fat and another layer of the epithelial cells called the mesothelium. Then we will observe the individual component of the gastrointestinal tract. Individual component of the gastrointestinal, oral cavity, mouth. You can see that mouth contain a different organs like a oral cavity, tongue is there, saliva is there, right? And some, and if you see the final function of the oral cavity is absorption of small molecules such as the glucose, water across the mucosa. From the mouth, food passes through the pharynx, esophagus via the action of the swallowing. It's a simple, you can go through it, right? Then this is a figure. You can see the mouth, different part of the mouth, right? Then we have got the salivary gland. You can see the salivary gland is, this is also a very good figure. You can see over here. Then we have got a parotid gland. Parotid gland, you can see over here. This is a salivary gland. And we have got a parotid gland. Here is a parotid figure also. You can see the parotid gland. There is a figure given, picture. The parotid glands are the large irregular shaped glands located under the skin on the side of the face. They secrete 25% of the saliva. They are situated below the zygomatic arch, cheekbone, and covered part of the mandible, lower jaw. And enlarged parotid glands can be either felt when clenched. The teeth, if you clench your teeth, you will feel the parotid glands. If you touch your cheeks. And parotid produce a watery secretion, which is also rich in protein. Immunoglobulins are also secreted, help to fight microorganisms. And amylase proteins start to break down the complex carbohydrate. Then submandibular glands are there and sublingual glands are there. It is also mentioned and shown in that list. This is a tongue, first parotid gland near the ear and the cheekbone. Then there is a, under the tongue is a sublingual gland. Then submandibular gland over there. This figure is very clear. This will explain automatically. Then we have seen the esophagus, right? And we have already discussed the esophagus. You can go through it. Then some anatomical structure of esophagus is there. Given esophagus has got a three portions: muscular layer, which is superior third voluntary straight striated muscles, then middle third voluntary striated and smooth muscles, and then inferior third smooth muscles. Food is transported through the esophagus by the peristalsis. Means esophagus also, when we take food from the mouth and then it will enter into the pharynx and then it will enter into the esophagus, then it won't drop directly into the stomach, but it will move slowly and gradually downwards, which is through the peristalsis. So peristalsis will control it. Over here is a figure. You can see the figure. Trachea is there. Throat, pharynx is there. Right? Esophagus, diaphragm, lower esophagus, sphincters, ileus, and stomach. Then we have got the liver. Liver play a very important role. As I have mentioned you, liver, first of all, when the liver is a large reddish brown situated in the right upper quadrant of the abdomen. It is surrounded by strong capsules and divided into four lobes. The liver has several functions. It acts as a mechanical filter by filtrating the blood that travels through the intestinal system. Its main function is detoxify several metabolites, including the breakdown of the bilirubin and estrogen. In addition, the liver has a synthetic function, producing albumin and blood clotting factors. So it has got different, but with the digestion, when we are studying alimentary system, we will focus on the function of its is the secretion of the bile and accumulate it into the gallbladder, and which help and enter into the duodenum, and from duodenum it will digest the fat. And liver also detoxified. If any toxins are there, means poisons are there, it will detoxify. However, its main role in digestion are the production of the bile and metabolism of the nutrients. All nutrients absorbed by the intestine pass through the liver and are processed before traveling to the rest of the body. So everything has to pass through the liver. Liver will check it. If it is favorable to the body, it will helpful to the body, allow it to move to the into the circulation. Otherwise, it will stop it and it will throw it out from the body through diarrhea, through vomiting, or through another system. This is a figure of the liver. You can see. Then gallbladder. Gallbladder is a hollow, pear-shaped organ that sits in the depression on the posterior surface of the liver. It is present at the back side of the liver. It consists of fundus, body, and neck. Bile is thick fluid that contains enzyme to help dissolve fat. What is the function of the bile? It dissolves the fat. Bile is produced by the liver but stored in the gallbladder until it is needed. Bile is released from the gallbladder by contraction of muscles wall in response to the hormones signals from the duodenum in the presence of food. This is a figure of the gallbladder and pancreas and bile. Everything is given over there. You can observe it. So this is all about of today's lecture, and if you please go through it, and if you have any query, please you can contact me. Thank you very much.